Hello, Abnormal Investigations. It's good to see you guys, and I've got another encounter drop for you today. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, this Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. we got a special guest that's going to be coming on the show, and I think everybody's going to enjoy her. She has a lot of encounters, and I'm excited to pick through some of her encounters and see what she's experienced. It's going to be a good one, guys. All right, let's get into today's encounter, guys. As a kid, I would always love going exploring in my local woods around 20 minutes from my house. I would take my friends and even sometimes just go in alone. To say the least, I was one of those kids who wasn't scared of much, and I didn't realize that there was dangers in the woods. Well, not dangers like what I was about to meet. One day I awoke on a normal school day and began to get ready. To my surprise, my mom come into my room telling me how school is canceled due to a strike the teachers had been on for a higher pay raise. This surprised me, but a lot, but I wasn't complaining. I looked outside and immediately sighed as the dark and cloudy evening. Though it was morning, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and even though the weather wasn't ideal, I found myself asking my friends about going to the woods. I wish I would have never thought to do that. Eventually, me and my two close friends, Aaron and Adam, met up at the head of the woods. I remember feeling surprised that Adam was coming, as he is known for being boring, and we even compared him to a boring-ass rat. Aaron, who I will refer to as Persky, is that his nickname. Wasn't the smartest of the kids and never really thought things through, and to this day, I still miss him a lot. Around 11 a.m. that day, we made it to the start of the woods, and I could already feel the excitement building in my stomach. We set out, and we did stuff we usually did, like throwing sticks, climbing and jumping and playing, just normal games. Before I knew it, my phone began to go off, and my mom was eager for us to come back as it was getting late, and let's just say the weather was turning for the worst. As stupid kids we were, not one of the tract, we were not sure how to get back. We were stuck. This immediately began to freak Persky and Adam, and all I can remember is excitement building up in my stomach as we were on our own, and I got to stay in the woods even longer. But being lost in the woods can be very scary, and this feeling soon left me when I heard the deafening sound of thunder beginning to occur. By this time, my phone had died and Persky and Adam didn't even bring theirs. This is when panic truly started to set in, and I was even beginning to become worried. We carried on walking for what felt like hours. I was so shocked, as I had been in the woods so much before, and I didn't have a clue how to escape. We were sure police would be looking for us, but how long would it take to find us? Eventually nighttime hit, and we all huddled up by a tree together, freezing and terrified. We all sat still for so long until Persky noticed something in the distance glaring. It was a pair of eyes. He told me and Adam, and we just sat there shaking vigorously. I felt this was my fault. I shouted at the creature and was horrified what occurred next. A long, hairy, wolf-like creature rose from the darkness, and we all immediately screamed and began to run for our lives, literally. I had never seen anything like that before, and I thought we was all dead for sure. I remember hearing the gurgling sounds coming from its mouth and the loud noises it made. I can only describe them as horrifying roars and gurgles. I ran until my body wouldn't let me any longer, and I remember feeling sick, and I noticed that Adam was with me. The creature hadn't followed us, but where was Persky? I hate to say this, but I was too scared to call out for him, or even to go out and look for him. Adam turned white and fainted right next to me. I tried to wake him up, but I couldn't. I lay there with him, waiting for something to happen. I was afraid of dying, afraid of being eaten alive, afraid it was going to kill us. It was either a wolf's howl or a boy's scream. After that, I must have fallen asleep, or passed out, probably more of the passed out. As I woke to the sunrise and the torches being shown on me, and Adam, who was still asleep, it was the police who took us back to our house. We were both fed and gave shelter, and they said suffering from hypothermia. They questioned us about where Persky was, but we had no idea. We could barely talk and only managed to mention that we saw. I remember my mom's face when she heard the description of what I said, and she immediately started to cry. What awful things could have happened to Persky? After this incident, me and Adam didn't talk much, and my family moved a month later. By this point, Persky had been found alive, but he recalls having no memory of what happened that day, after we all ran away. He hated me and Adam for leaving him, and I do miss them both. After this event, I learned about the Rougarou. And sometimes I think that's probably what happened. It was the Rougarou, or whatever that thing was. It was not human or animal I had heard of. It was a damn werewolf. I warn you never go into the woods, and to be cautious if you do. These creatures exist, and I was too afraid to even call out for my best friend. We're not sure what happened in those woods that day. We all seemed to have went to sleep, but we was all suffering from hypothermia. But we all saw the same thing and gave the same description. What do you think happened to us? I think it was right before a weather event, like 411 says. You was all wrong place, right time. I think that whatever it was decided not to take you guys that day, probably because you did have a search party looking for you, and it didn't want to be seen, and it knew that it would possibly be caught, so the opportunity wasn't there. And that's probably what saved you, is your mom and dad getting a search party, calling the police, and them coming looking for you. That's just my theory. What do you guys think? What do you think saved them all? And what do you think happened? Let me know in the comments. If you don't mind, guys, smash that like button. It helps so much. And we'll see you on the next one. And always remember, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner.